Aki listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget, join me on Instagram or X at Let's Learn Sumo. Also YouTube, where you can find this episode restreamed in audio and a couple of new video episodes from my time in Japan. Still got one or two coming yet. A little surprise interview with somebody in English for a change. Don't forget, you can donate to my Kimboshi Fund to help me pay for the subscriptions. Buy me a coffee link in the comments. So here we are, 2 weeks out from the November 2025 Fukuoka Grand Sumo Tournament. The Banzuke ranking came out this morning. So we'll have a look at the rankings and see how we think the last tournament will go. But first, we have a regular on the podcast to help us break it all down. Goose from the Sunday Morning Sumo Show. Welcome, Goose, and hello. It's been a while.
You completely threw me off by saying hello exactly like Frank Walker from National Tiles. Hello.
To those who are not in Australia, there's an ad on television and, radio. And Frank Walker from National Tiles has got to be the most annoying advertisement that exists today.
All right. Completely demolishing the professionalism. I'm very proud of myself with that one, Clayton. I would like to start this by thanking you specifically for being the strongest soldier of the Sunday Morning Sumo Show. I listened to your appearance on Sumo Mainichi, and within the space of a minute, you were able to reference us twice on there.
Oh, nice.
I'm exceptionally proud of you. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Actually, JJ and I had a good night. I've not really spent much time with JJ talking sumo, so it was a really good couple of hours talking sumo. We had a good night. And I really enjoyed seeing a photo of you at the World Championships in Thailand
with a fan.
The one and only, the legend, Hakuho, the Yokozuna, the greatest Yokozuna there's ever been, holding, and I don't know how you achieve this, but a little symbol of the Sunday Morning Sumo Show.
I brought stickers over there specifically for that moment, and I got that, and there's a funny story behind it. So what I did was I saw him sitting in the VIP section, and I couldn't get his attention, and I waited 10 minutes. And then I see a bunch of Japanese men sitting on the side in front of a sign that says Team Hakuho. So I go over there and talk to him. I was like, hey, could I get a photo with Hakuho? It's like, oh, let me ask. And then he goes over there. And then Hakuho does almost 30 seconds of talking back and forth with this guy. And then comes back, and I get the photo of Hakuho holding the Sunday Morning Sumo Show logo. And then for the next 30 minutes, there was blood in the water because everyone realized Hakuho's doing photos. And I accidentally ruined a part of that man's day because he had to sit there and play celebrity for 30 goddamn minutes.
And he probably, it's part of life being so famous in the sumo world. It is part of what the deal is when you're that famous, and he, it was very nice of him to do it, but that sort of thing, I think celebrity sometimes, he's made your day, week, year, if not your life with that photo.
I'm holding that thing forever.
Mate, I'm thoroughly jealous. I think it's one of the, that's a lifelong memory. Well done. So you went after that to the Aki Basho in the Kokugikan in Tokyo. You joined us on the live stream there for a few moments. What was your thoughts first time to the sumo at the Tokyo National Stadium? What do you think?
The atmosphere is so much more impressive in person. The crowd is a lot more rowdy than I anticipated. The venue is great. The spectating is great. Getting to see the speaker system and how the sound is conveyed well is very interesting to me. You can just really hear the action quite well because of that. The hakioi and all that. It was fantastic. What really caught me by surprise was the merch stand is run by former Rikishi who are still in the association. So when walking around to go get a beer and then seeing Kaisei just sitting at a table selling Wakatake Kage towels, that was a moment where it's where it really is just nothing but a plastic folding table between you and Kaisei, and I asked for a photo and got it and had a good time. I said Brazil numero uno. That made him laugh. Amazing.
Oh, excellent. And it is. I mean, I think one thing people don't realise is the Oyakatas and the former Rikshi, who all are part of the JSA. They do all the jobs around the stadium, from ticket entry to security at the stadium. They protect the dojo
Hmm.
towards the end of the day. They sell merch. They direct people. It's a team work atmosphere there. I'm sure they can hire plenty of people, but it is a special thing to walk around and see, Terunofuji standing in the aisleway, doing his little job, and Takakeisho doing a job somewhere. It's a nice thing to
Yeah.
see.
Well, it's like the rights and responsibilities, right?
Mm,
Like we'll give
mm,
you
mm.
these, but in return,
Yeah. And so we finished up there. I spent, I think, 3 days at the tournament. I had a great time. You can check out the videos from there. I took a risk, and instead of filming my review episode outside after the event on the footpath where the flags are, and I've done that a few times, I decided I would have a go at filming it inside the stadium right at the end of the bow twirling ceremony. And so, writing a script, getting it all together, and filming in the stand as everyone's leaving was a bit of a challenge. But hope everyone enjoyed that. It was a little bit of extra effort, but yeah, you don't get a whole lot of time. So I think towards the end, I got kicked out once, and I had to go and film the rest outside.
I have been meaning to make fun of you for that because I
Yes.
saw the photo of you in the Kokugikan, laptop out, working on the famous spreadsheet.
It was the only way I could.
Nerd.
Nerd. I I confess fully to being a sumo nerd. But as everyone knows, and Dave from Sumo Mainichi also found out that that's how I do the podcast. That's how I do the commentary. I need that to. It's like 1,800 individual fights a year in top division.
That's
You
a lot of
just
fights.
you can't remember them all. So it's just
I
how
know
I keep track
I
of it all.
watch more sumo than just about anyone else. I can't remember them
Mm.
all. I watched
Yeah.
the whole thing. I commentated the replays. An hour
Yep.
later, I watched the Nato replays with a housemate of mine and explain the matches that happened to him and get him into sumo. I
Yep.
literally watch the Basho twice a day, every single day, and I forget stuff all the time. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that there's a
exactly.
little
Yeah.
message I left in this saying something about Abi versus Hoshoryu is Haru match of the year. I left that in March in this Discord.
Yes.
I don't remember the match. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
And that's it. I literally sat and watched some of the replays this evening before we came on. You've just got to refresh your memory. It's just part of the deal. So moving on, in between
Before we
Aki
move on,
Basho, yeah,
this spreadsheet of yours. Listen
yes,
to me carefully. You can never release. This is a sacred document in the online sumo world. It needs to be known about and preserved, and only
it
released when you finally retire.
it is quite a thing. I think I've shown you, haven't I, at some point?
Not
It's
even once. I took a
oh,
peek
haven't
once,
I?
and it was just the Domino's website, so I gave up.
Oh, look, I'm gonna have to send it to you. You're gonna have a sticky beak.
I'm not gonna look. I watch pro wrestling. Okay, I like to keep the magic alive. This is a
Yes,
mythical document that can't be released.
it's the unicorn document.
Exactly. Moving
Speaking of
on.
which, there was a unicorn tournament in London, the London Exhibition Tournament 5-day basho. Look, from the outset, credit where credit is due. I think I said the other night, it was an incredibly successful tournament. Huge amounts of mainstream media. Even saw a story in the Australian the other day about the tournament. Plenty of social media work. Look, I think we all agree. Anyone who watches sumo, I wouldn't say it was performative,
I
but I
would.
would
That was
say they
pro wrestling.
probably, yeah, some of it was a little bit performative in the lower part, but I think towards the end, day 4 and day 5, I saw a little bit more effort, a little bit more passion in a couple of those fights towards the end. But in the end, I think for sumo worldwide, I think that was a very successful tournament. Do you think it was a little bit in response to Hakuho and his intentions?
That's a very good point that I'll need to think about more, but you don't really plan those things on a whim. But then again, Hakuho did retire a while ago. And there is historical precedent for this, but that was also 20 years ago. So
or did it just fall? Is it just convenient that it happened at the same time and it's just fell into his lap as a convenience?
It can be both. It can be, hey, this is a good idea, and then we found the motivation to do it.
Yes. I think from me, if nothing else comes out of this tournament in London, despite it was very popular, they sold a lot of tickets. The sumo got good exposure. Ura is probably the most loved sumo around the world.
The gift from outer space.
Yes, but I hope that Hakaku, the chairman of the JSA, understands the popularity of sumo outside of Japan and tries to make it a bit easier for people to watch it outside. The one thing that really annoyed me was, did you see where you could stream that tournament in Australia? It was available.
The DAZN website?
No, it was on the LG streaming service. So you could only watch it if you had an LG brand TV with the LG television service in Australia.
Look, as the proud owner of a completely legitimate and legal sumo show, there are other ways.
Yes, and I found those other ways. So, what were your thoughts on the tournament overall?
It was a Jungyo. It was nothing special.
Yeah.
As an absolute diehard sumo fan, like who cares? The matches weren't worth watching. It was a fun spectacle, but it wasn't anything more than fun. But my God, was it absolutely perfect at what it set out to do. I had a coworker ask me about one of the matches, specifically the Ura Aonishi one. If you take a look at the Google search rates for Grand Sumo, it's at an all-time high. The social media clips and the news articles worldwide that have been shared have been absolutely amazing. It was a completely, I wouldn't say perfect, but incredibly well-executed way to get sumo into the foreign eyes.
Yes.
It did big on Instagram.
Agree.
So I'm very happy with it, whereas as a tournament itself, it was fake, and I only watched one day and didn't really care.
It's clear that they told all the Rikishi before the start of the tournament, no matter what you do not beat the Yokozunas. They must face each other for the tournament on last day. But Hoshoryu, I think in day 4, nearly went bum up, nearly slipped on his own feet and ruined the whole process. And recovered to recovered to get the Yorikiri or the Oshidashi win.
I would like to quell any and all people who maybe think, oh no, they actually were going at it, or spent 5 days without his knee straps.
Yes, exactly. That was probably the big thing. He had no strapping on. It's interesting. I watched that Aonishi Ura fight in slow-mo a few times, and you could say it was a bit performative.
It was 100% performative. That is a Russian wrist snap, what that move is properly known as in wrestling terms. And every single time you see it, the guy lands on his shoulder or jumped in order for that flip to happen.
Maybe a bit of practice the day before.
Sorry to spoil the magic, despite what I previously said about pro wrestling. That was completely fake, but my God, was it perfectly done, because I had a co-worker from Logan talking to me about pro sumo. Do you understand the reach that means?
Massive reach. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was a wild success, if not for the perhaps performative stuff. So, moving on to the September tournament, we had a really successful tournament in September, the Aki Basho in Tokyo. We were lucky enough to be there. Won by Onosato, winning the Yusho in a playoff over Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu forcing the playoff by beating Onosato on day 15. A really good move, I thought, that day 15 regular match, Goose, where he's literally got, he just got a really great blast out of the tachiai, and Onosato just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, that was historically important, because if memory serves, that was the first Yokozuna playoff since, I think, 1997, if I remember correctly. If not, it's
I think it was a bit
Hakuho
more
versus
recent, but it was a
Hakusho.
long. It was a
2009, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So it was
yeah. So let's talk about the health of the sport. Yokozuna playoffs for the Yusho. Do you understand how angry I am at Kotoeho now for last Basho? Like, oh my god, we have the Titans battling it out. No one else is better than them, and they're killing it. 13-2s for the first time in I don't know how long.
It's been a long way.
It's sumo is so good right now.
Whilst the sport is healthy, day 14 to get to that ability to play off, Hoshoryu Yokozuna against Wakataka Kage. Henka City. Hoshoryu pulls a Henka and Wakataka Kage flying out of the touchy eye face plants as he gets pushed down. Now, as that match finished, it was the last match of that night on day 14. I was up in the stands. There were quite a few boos in the crowd.
Good. It's a Henka. No one's ever going to be fully on board with a Henka. If you go back and watch the show, I was mad at the time as well. But then, hey, Yokozuna playoff because of that, right? So,
and I suppose that's my point.
Strategic decision by Hoshoryu that resulted in the best day 15 we've seen in years.
And that's exactly my point. Onosato got himself a Fusen win on day 14 over Kotozakura, who pulled out with his knee. Hoshoryu taking the Henka to force that, I'm not so unhappy. It's the old, like Michael Schumacher, like Tiger Woods, like all of these high-class sportsmen. Sometimes you've got to have that killer instinct to want to be there. And I'm not so down on him. He's been fairly mercilessly hankered since he got to Yokozuna.
Yeah, it's happened. Shoshona's done it twice in a row. So it was literally a perfect bar show except for that day 14 where we could have had a Yusho decided by a Fusen and I would have cried because it was so good until then.
I would have been a bit unhappy to see it won by a Fusen. I think it set it up for a grandstand finish. I'm not really down on Hoshoryu for doing it. I think it wasn't a desperation move. I think it was a strategic move, and I think there's a difference.
Henkas can fail.
Yeah. Well, look at Shishi.
Yes. Good Lord, I'd rather not, honestly.
It's like turning the Queen Mary. So, Onosato, he gets himself a 13-2 Yusho on the back of a playoff against Hoshoryu. He did give up a Kimboshi to Hakuoho early in the tournament. Now, that was a really interesting loss in that Hakuoho absorbed that big power hit off the Yokozuna. What are your thoughts there?
Fun fact, that is the only match I remember from watching the Basho. I'm a big Hakuoho fan. The Basho before, I said not enough people were talking about how Hakuoho was able to Kinboshi him because that's Hakuoho's top student versus Kisano Sato's top student. That's a Yokozuna rivalry, a generation below. And in order for him to beat such a big deal like that, because you got to remember back early 2023, it was Hakuoho was the first cab off the rank in this like ocean of next big things, and then Onosato showed up, and it was like, wait, hang on, Kisano Sato's got a guy as well, and then we kind of slowly watched them climb up together without ever really versing until I think it's M3 versus Yokozuna, and then to beat him so decidedly, it was like this is a really big deal. And then I get to see him in the Kokugikan and basically do the exact same thing. It's like, hang on, Hakuho's dude is better than Kisano Sato's dude. Hang on. And I got very excited when that happened while watching it live.
Yeah, I think there was someone else who fought Hakuoho in the tournament and tried the same thing. And Hakuoho he's got the ability to just withstand that in defense. He's Kirishima tried to blast him. I think a few of them tried to blast him, and I think it's kind of like Midori Fuji and a few of the guys. they tend to play into the strength of their opponent, and tactically just some terrible choices. But I mean, that's Onosato's stock in trade, is that out of the touchy eye blasting move.
He might be the best out of the touchy eye, honestly.
So how does he get around it next time is the question for
by going around it. Don't stand in front of Onosato. That's a really scary place to be.
And I think Abi found that out because he got absolutely yeeted by the Yokozuna after he tried to Nodowa Onosato, and Onosato just yeeted him airborne off the side of the ring into the crowd. It was quite the hit you've seen Abi up close. He is not a small man.
No, it's such a beautiful match to watch. There's a lot going on there, and I love a good Oshi battle.
I think one other fight I'd mention for Onosato was up against Hirodumi. Hirodumi, known as a bit of a blaster, comes out of the touchy eye really hard. Onosato started way back from the starting line, and just trying to negate that power blast off Hirodumi. I thought it was a really unusual move for someone who's so confident out of the touchy eye.
Yeah, he's really, I wouldn't say fallen off, but struggling to maintain, because he did go 10-5 at Konosuba, right, which was ridiculous after a 9-5 at M1, and just unfortunately got log jammed. And now he's just not, whether he's been figured out or he's like adapting his style and it's not working, he's just struggling to be that explosive cannonball touchy that we used to know.
Our other Yokozuna, Hoshoryu, 13-2 Junyusho off the playoff. Look, really good tournament to day 11, but Ayanishiki again got Hoshoryu's feet all twisted and down. He went. It's the second time that Ayanishiki's gotten Hoshoryu's footwork into a really poor position.
Ayanishiki does have a freestyle wrestling background, so he's approaching these matches, and he's been wrestling his whole life as well. Even though he's new, he's not new. He's got like probably over a decade of fighting experience to his name. He is approaching these matches from ways not a lot of people are used to. Like when he pulled out 3 Uchimusos, even though Takayasu defended one. So he's got that to his advantage. When he's got hands on the belt, he's very dangerous, and he's moving in ways that Hoshoryu isn't expecting. He's constantly circling him. It's like I said, if he can ever get his hands on Onosato's belt, I think Onosato's in trouble. The problem is he's been Oshi'd out twice because arm difference. And what's happening is Hoshoryu's locking up belt to belt and then just getting out-wrestled because Aonishiki is that kind of wrestler.
And Hoshoryu loves being on the belt.
So Hoshoryu has to adapt and start doing Oshi against Aonishiki. Otherwise, I think he's going to keep losing.
He's got to find a way to change how he deals with Ayanishiki. We'll come back to Ayanishiki.
Which, when I say earlier, don't stand in front of Onosato, I don't mean hank at him. I mean do what Aonishiki's doing and just constantly be circling around.
Yeah. And you know, it just discombobulates Hoshoryu entirely. He you know, his belt work is, you know, almost second to none. But gee, his footwork just tends to go nowhere, and he had Ayanishiki on the run, but it wasn't a good attack. Anyway, Kotazakura was up next, 9-5 and 1 absence. Not a bad tournament. We saw some pretty good signs this tournament that his knee was coming good until day 13 against Hoshoryu, and he was up against the Yokozuna. Funnily enough, some fool called out at the touchy eye just as the touchy eye was about to happen. And I think it put Hoshoryu off, actually, on that fight. Anyway, it was an easy Yorikiri win for Kotazakura, but in that he hurt his knee reasonably badly. No word on any operation or anything, but certainly he did not go to London, which I'm sure he is disappointed about. But otherwise, you know, if his knee comes good, there were some pretty good signs over this tournament.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. Funnily enough, he got a Kata Sakashi over Atami Fuji. Just got the hand under the shoulder, very Midori Fuji style, yanked him down. Couple of good wins there, but also lost to Ayanishiki on an Oshi Dashi, who just started to push him, tried to keep Ayanishiki off the belt, but Ayanishiki low and hard and pushed him over the bales. Again, that low movement. Moving on, Wakataka Kage at Sekiwake 1 East. Just all kind of fell apart for him, 6 and 9. What are your thoughts about Wakataka Kage's tournament? He was looking
Just a bad
for
one.
just a bad one. On the Ozeki run, it's now fallen apart, and he's got to start again.
I don't think he's ever becoming Ozeki, and I'm a massive fan of him. And that's not an insult. When you look at the people above him and you look at where he is, yeah, he's good, but he's not that good. And look, being a career Sekiwake is a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to disagree. I think he can get there. If you look like last year, since he came back in top division in July last year, he's gone 11, 12, 10. He's able to consistently push out these higher scores, but then he's gotten himself to Komusubi and 7 and 8. Then he's back to Magashira 1, 9 and 6, Komusubi 12 and 3, Sekiwake 10 and 5, and then just has a bad tournament. It was nothing particularly awful. It was just didn't work for him.
That's what separates an Ozeki from a Sekiwake, though. You don't have bad tournaments anymore.
Well, that's it. You only get that one chance at Ozeki, and you've got to consistently push it out. But I still think he's got the wherewithal to do it. And I think you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. So I think we'll see him back. Our other Sekiwake, Kirishima, 6 and 9. Again, another bad tournament. I think he got a little bit. Oh, actually, the one fight I wanted to talk about with Kirishima was his fight against Ayanishiki on day 5. He lost to Ayanishiki by a kuridashi rear push out, 2 matas by Ayanishiki, as Kirishima was really trying hard to control the start. It was a good touchy eye. He went full Oshi Nodowa on Ayanishiki, had him in trouble. Ayanishiki defended. Kirishima got onto the belt with his left hand, almost took Ayanishiki over the belt. He survived. They got back to the center. Kirishima had him by a left hand inside belt and made the biggest blunder I've ever seen him make. He took his hand off the belt and drove it for a front belt grip. He was just too high. Ayanishiki took advantage, got him spun around because he had the belt and drove him out Okuridashi. It was an interesting choice by Kirishima. He had and this was an interesting one to look at because he had a position of dominance where he had that left belt. He didn't need to let it go. Ayanishiki wasn't able to push or change Kirishima's movement, but that move, like going for the inside front belt, it was just a blunder. I just was amazed at the time he did it.
We need to get you on some kind of sumo radio, man, because I genuinely forgot I was on a podcast for a bit of that. I was just too engrossed listening to you describe a match. That was great. Yeah, Kirishima. I'm not upset anymore. I've lost faith in him. I don't think he's ever making Ozeki, and I don't know what fell apart. There's a lot of moving factors, changing stables, changing coaches, a new approach to sumo. I don't know, and he used to be competitive against Hosharyu, but that Hosharyu match was embarrassing. So don't know what's wrong with him. But it's like the Mitake Yume thing where it's granted he only fell on Kirishima, that is, he only fell to M1, so it wasn't a massive drop off.
Yeah.
But it's a big gap from M1 to Ozeki, and he's just not there anymore.
He doesn't seem to be able to provide that, like you said with Wakataka Kage, that consistency against the Senyaku. And it's, whilst the Senyaku and Joy is swapping about a bit, there's some quite quality wrestlers up in that Senyaku Joy area.
Yeah, it's a little dense right now. It's a bit weird at the moment with Oho and Aonishiki at Sekiwake. That's upsetting to me. What do you mean Wakataka Kage, Kirishima, Wakamoto, Haru, Abi, Takayasu. What do you mean all of those people have fallen off? What is happening? It's it's very weird.
Well, Takayasu, not getting a win for the first 6 days of the tournament at Komusubi West. I mean, that's quite the terrible first week, isn't it?
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant. Big Oshi battle with Ayanishiki. I counted 25 thrusts on each other before Ayanishiki went low and hard and drove Takayasu up and out. He doesn't mind throwing a few thrusts out there, Takayasu.
This is why the spreadsheet must be a preserved document, because what do you mean you counted? That is deranged, and I love you for it.
Because when you have a match like that, Daisho goes full threshing machine, or one of them go. I just like to go. Okay, who's doing the most hits?
Fair enough.
Got the most power. I am a nerd,
and we love you for it. You're a valuable institution here.
So let's talk about Ayanishiki. He has moved up to Sekiwake 1 east off the back of an 11-4. He had a chance through the tournament. He lost to Onosato on day 1, that big power drive we talked about. He lost to Oho on day 4 by a Kotanage arm lock. Now, this one was a really interesting fight. Ayanishiki, they had a bit of an arm, thrusting affair. Oho was trying to keep him off the belt, smart. Ayanishiki leaned in, got the belt. And as Ayanishiki leaned in and tried to go low, Oho had the outside grip and used it on the upper arm. Ayanishiki dropped his weight and Oho really quickly pulled around and used that leverage. It was a very instructive win against the Shin Sekiwake. For me, like if you saw the fights in London, they're all pretty much trying to beat Ayanishiki still. There was a little bit of feeling in a few of those matches.
I didn't watch enough, but I'll take your word for it because I think a lot of people are upset that he's winning.
Yeah, Ayanishiki was up against, he fought Oho in London. And Oho tried very hard with his hand on the shoulder, on the inside shoulder of Ayanishiki to lift him up, to hold him from going low. And Atami Fuji did the same, really used his other arm to hold Ayanishiki up, but it freed up Ayanishiki's arm and he just Ushimuso'd, did the inside leg slap on Atami Fuji. It was an interesting move, but I think that Kotanage, and again, it just showed there is a little bit of weakness there occasionally. He lost to Shodai. Shodai just got lowish, absorbed the hit, and Ayanishiki tried to bury his head in Shodai's chest, but got him a little bit upright and just drove him back for a frontal force down. So it begs the question on Ayanishiki, how do these guys beat him consistently?
You got to have a stronger Oshi than him. It's just such a death sentence if he gets on your belt, especially with both ends, because he's just so strong. He's so solid. He just is immune to slapdown somehow, despite leaning forward so much. He must have a ridiculously strong core, and of course, some very powerful legs. He's hard. He's hard to beat in a full belt wrestling match. You just got to avoid that, and even then, it's a hard fight, but it's still easy.
And Wakamoto Haru got his last day against Ayanishiki. Wakamoto Haru got his favoured inside-out belt grip, and really worked hard to get Ayanishiki back and over the bales, but he did do it. He showed a bit of grit and showed that Ayanishiki can be beaten that way. But I tell you what, throughout these last couple of tournaments, these guys have tried a lot of things and failed.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to more of it.
Where do you think he's going to end up this
tournament? Oh, this tournament? Sorry. I don't know. Slap another 11-4 on there, see what happens. He hasn't slowed down yet.
No.
He's got Hoshoryu beat. Onosato's got him beat. But again, we're yet to see Aonishi on Onosato's belt. He is 100%. He's doing Ozeki stuff right now. But like every step of the way, people have said, "Oh, well, now he's about to be tested." Not really. He's been tested. He's just this good.
Well, he's on,
I,
what, 4-11 fours in a row.
I guarantee you he makes Ozeki.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he is on, where are we? Komusubi, 11-4. The previous one was Magashira 1, 11-4 Junyusho. If he punches out an 11 or 12 this tournament, it's not unprecedented that they could take the Magashira 1 score into account in a promotion to Ozeki when they're missing an Ozeki.
For sure. They'll be very happy to promote him. And it's not like he's disappointed yet.
Yeah. So, on the Banzuke, let's have a quick sticky beat. Kotazakura stays where he is. The Yokozunas stay where they are. Onosato, Hoshoryu. Ayanishiki is promoted 1.5 places to Komusubi West. Oho makes it to Sekiwake. Sorry, he makes it to Sekiwake 1 East. Oho, Sekiwake 1 West. Oho had a pretty good tournament. Pulled out a 10-5 after a run of pretty poor tournaments back to January, where he had a pretty good one, ended up in the playoff. But I don't know that I have a lot of confidence in Oho staying at Sekiwake after this tournament.
I'm under the impression that there's 2 Ohos. It's the only way that makes sense how he wrestles the way he does.
He lost to both Yokozunas, lost to Wakataka Kage, but beat Kotazakura, beat Ayanishiki in a really, I encourage you to see if you can find a replay of that Ayanishiki Oho fight. Very instructive. Really good fight to watch. Okay, moving on. Takanosho had himself a really good tournament, gets himself up to Komusubi. He gets a 7-place promotion from Megashira 7 on the back. Yeah, back of a 12-3. Really good tournament. Lost to Ayanishiki, which is no great shame. Lost to Midori Fuji, which at this point, you've got to be doing pretty bad to lose to Midori Fuji. He's having a run of pretty poor form. And Onakatsu, but otherwise, I was pretty impressed with Takanosho. Very forceful, good sumo.
Yeah, Takanosho is a Jun Yusho threat when he's in form. He's one of the few guys who can consistently put up double-digit numbers. Like, he will just appear in that race towards the last 3 days, and you have to beat him, otherwise he's going to take that Jun Yusho.
I mean, earlier this year he had a terrible start to the year, 6-9, 3-12, but he's put himself back. He's put it back together, and seems to be fighting with a bit more purpose. Takayasu, Papa Bear, the Bear, he gets a half-place drop to Komusubi West after his 7-8. Fighting okay, a healthy Takayasu is a good Takayasu. Maybe had a little niggle in that first week. Didn't quite work for him, but he had a pretty good second week and ended up with that 7-8 on the last day. Hakuoho moves
I'm
himself
just so happy that Takayasu is able to go negative at Komusubi twice in a year and stay at Komusubi. What an absolute blessing.
But, you see some good things with Takayasu staying at Komusubi. You see some bad things where Shishi gets to stay at Magashira 18 on a 7-8.
Yes, such is life.
I think the term in cricket is batting him into form. Magashira 1 East, Hakuoho gets himself a promotion of 1 place to Magashira 1 East, takes the top joy spot. Look, 8-7 is a Kachikoshi, got himself a special prize for beating Onosato, and that was an if win. So not too bad. Had a little bit of not a great second week, had 4 losses second week. Might have run out a bit of steam maybe.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to this Basho.
I think Hakuoho, to me, his defense is just he is a brick wall for them to hit, and
he's short to the point where it's an advantage because he's not little, but for the average big guy, he sits just underneath the shoulders in a way that he's not risking anything when he advances forward. Most obviously seen versus Onosato, where he gets right inside the pocket for a Yorikiri drive.
Hmm. But it's interesting. His footwork is I think, very similar to Hoshoryu in that he's got that really wide. Hard to explain how his feet and his legs work, but to me they look very similar to that very stable base that Hoshoryu tries to create for himself. On to Wakatakage. He's down at Magashira 1 West, 6 and 9. Kirishima Magashira 2, 6 and 9. Didn't have a great one. Wakamoto Haru gets himself up to Magashira 2, a two-place improvement. I am still not used to seeing Wakamoto Haru in Magashira ranks. I still feel he's a Sekiwake to me, but 9 and 6 in September, I saw a little bit of good form there. His win over Ayanishiki, to me, really demonstrated that he's back to Wakamoto Haru belt strength.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way about Wakatakage. I'm not the biggest fan of Wakamoto Haru, but it is uncomfortable for me to see Wakatakage in the Magashira, even if it is M1.
Yes.
So looking forward for a good basho from both these boys.
I reckon they can both push out a good one. Kirishima, injury maybe, who knows? We're just not sure where Kirishima's going.
I've lost hope
Hiratumi,
for Hiroshima. I'll put it like that.
Hiratumi, Magashira 3, still floating around that area. Let's talk about the man from outer space, Ura.
The gift from outer space himself, Ura. I don't care where he sits on the Banzuke as long as I get to see Ura. The only guy who would get a bigger cheer for an 0 and 15 than a 15 and 0.
Yes. So he finished at 10 and 5. That was a pretty good tournament.
Damn good tournament.
I put that down to he really showed a bit more orthodox sumo, as I've talked about before.
Yeah, a lot of surprising, just stand in front, Yorikiri, Yoshidashi work to get the job done. A lot of flips, not a lot of silly business. Pulled out a 10-5 because of it.
And the one he did lose, he lost to Shodai. He tried his Tutezori underarm backward throw, and it failed miserably.
The banana run.
Yes. He got threshed by Daisho, which is, everyone gets a bit of a threshing from Daisho here and there. But otherwise, I thought, really tried hard to pull back some of that acrobatic stuff, I thought. And it really showed that I think if he can continue that, I can see another good result as he goes higher.
Definitely.
But couple of failures this tournament. Kota Shoho, our Yusho winner from July, just didn't work. A Yusho hangover for him. Didn't quite happen. Had a pretty poor tournament, pulling out a 4 and 11. He drops down to Magashira 10. He gets a 5.5 place drop. Not a great drop, but I think for me, Kota Shoho is easily a Magashira 4 to 8 sort of wrestler. He gets a surprising Yusho, but I think he's good enough to sit in that 4 place consistently.
Yeah, definitely a comfortable place for him on the Banzuke. Very sensible Banzuke all around, honestly. Despite what some of the whinge merchants might tell you.
No, I thought it was pretty much there. I mean, Oho going up, he's never actually been to Komusubi, so he goes straight to Sekiwake again. But Takanosho, look, I think he deserved to go up. He did jump a couple of guys who got Kachikoshi, but I think at 12 and 3, you can easily justify that over 8 and 7s.
Just realized earlier I said Kotoeho you showed last basho, not Kotoshoho. My apologies. It's been a while and I wasn't looking at the names.
One name that we will need to get used to is Yoshino Fuji.
Used to it already, baby. What a stupid name. Yoshino Fuji? The little dude from Mario Mount Fuji? Are you serious?
Yes, Kasano of Isegahama stable. He was using Kasano, which was his family name. He's now adopted the new Shikona of Yoshino Fuji. I did see what it meant today. I haven't retained it in my head, though. So we need to get used to that. From Isegahama, of course, he was going to take a Fuji on.
Authority and power. I definitely
something to that effect, yeah. But look, Magashira 5, he goes up 1.5 places off an 8 and 7 Kachikoshi. Not too bad. I did actually kind of expect perhaps a little bit better after his storming onto the battlefield in July with an 11-4. Maybe just getting used to being up there, but still Kachikoshi is always a win in top ranks. Shodai, Magashira 5. He goes up 4.5 places. Shodai. He had a good tournament.
Still a Shodai.
He was at day 11. He was 9-2. He was in the race and he beat Ayanishiki.
Good for him, though. Fair enough.
Yes. But then, ridiculously, loses to Ryuden the very next day, which I thought was hilarious.
I love a good veterans match, though.
Yeah. Look, it's a good strength battle. Ryuden is a strong guy with a lot of endurance, so they got into a pretty good struggle. The fight went on for the longer it went, the more Ryuden had the chance to win it. So got him Yorikiri in the end, forced him over. Then he lost to Kirishima. No great loss there. Oshoma, another good match with Shodai. So look, he put up a scrappy tournament, did well. Atami Fuji didn't go well, 5 and 10. He drops to Magashira 6, a couple of places.
There's going to be a test for him.
Yeah, look.
If he can't hang at the slightly upper ranks, when you were barely holding on at M1, man, there's going to be a test for him.
Actually, he had an interesting fight with Ayanishiki. Ayanishiki pulled what I think was a Saba Ori, a frontal force down. They got into that really low position. And Atami Fuji they were both holding each other really low, and Ayanishiki forced him down. They didn't call the Kimarite, but I kind of went back and forth and looked at it, and they could have called it a Wata Dashinage, but I went for Saba Ori for my own purposes. But the redo, they got a Toranayoshi rematch, and Ayanishiki just kept his balance and drove Atami Fuji out Yorikiri. Look, Terunofuji can't be happy with the way that worked. I think he only really put up one really good defensive effort, and that was against Tamawashi, of all people. I think the rest...
Must be confusing being Terunofuji right now when your number one student is called Hakuho. Sorry, Hakuo.
Yes. And just Atami Fuji, he perplexes me. I don't know whether his brain's not there sometimes. He makes some poor choices, maybe.
From what I've heard, he's a brat. I've seen Terunofuji yell at him a lot for not following orders or not listening to instruction. And because he's such a giant, talented kid to begin with, I get the feeling he's coasted off his size and his natural talent for the longest time. And now that it's not working, like you probably didn't, but there's this one video of him throwing a temper tantrum backstage last Basho after a loss, where he's just kind of throwing his hands by his side. Yeah, he's 22. He's still young.
Yeah, he's only a baby.
And some people can be mentally childish for a long time. That sounds very harsh, but what I'm trying to say is this young guy who's been very successful most of his life and is able to get into top division and is able to get into an incredible stable like this. I think he's very arrogant not very arrogant personally, but just in himself, and like, no, I'm good, I don't need this. And so now the coach is giving him a hard time and he's falling apart.
Yes. Yeah. A little bit of maturity still has to come his way.
Yeah.
Totally agree there. So the other one who went very poor, Arby, he took a 6th place drop from Magashira 1 down to Magashira 7. Just a bad tournament for him. Didn't work.
I wish him a very merry 12-3 from M7.
Yes, I think. But we said that about Daisho too, and Daisho
different circumstances. His leg was hurt. I used my previous prediction of Daisho on this one. I think he will go 10 wins minimum. Yes,
I'd have to agree. I think obviously in September his leg was still not right. Daisho will move on from him. No wins on the first 9 days, and then pulled out 3 wins in the second week. Just went very poorly for him. Daisho, he is down in Magashira 10, 7 and 8. They left him exactly where he was last tournament. Hopefully his leg appeared to be better in London. and that's what I got from his time in London. He pulled out a really good firing threshing machine, Sapari thrusts on Roga on day 5. It was a pretty good. I think I counted 15 decent hits from Daisho on that one. So that just showed me that he's got a little bit of power left, and he seems to be back and doing what he does. The other
he was
person
starting to look good halfway through the last Basho as well. That's where he picked up most of his wins.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty slow first week. Only got 2 wins on the first week, and then towards the back end, he really started to come out firing with the Sapari and took a few there. Did lose to Shishi, though, by Hataki Komi, slap down. It was a big thrusting battle. Shishi got the deflection, and Daisho went down. It was probably a lucky deflection. I'll give him that.
I'm upset, man.
We'll save some time for Shishi.
I've got no time for Shishi.
One person I did see in London, which was interesting, was Takeda Fuji, who will be down in Juryo this time after his 0015 Kyujo in September. But it was good to see him
on the Yusho, Takeda Fuji.
Yes, I feel Juryo, it'll be, well, he's got Ayanishiki at about, Asaniyama at, I think Asaniyama's about Juryo 3. That will be an interesting battle. That'll be worth watching.
If Asaniyama wasn't so hurt, it would be.
So, he takes a demotion down, but it was interesting. Takeda Fuji, he took a loss on day 1 to Roga, but as he went down, he tended to grip his injured arm for a moment. So I think maybe a little bit tight, not quite there, but he did come back and he seemed to be operating okay for the rest of that tournament, but he wasn't 100%, I would say. The other big movers, I did say we would talk about it. Shishi, 10-5 from Magashira 18 East, comes up 7 places. Look, in all seriousness, Shishi, to me, he's awkward. Yes, he's awful to watch. Yes, he doesn't have great footwork, but somehow he's got this ability to pull a win out. He has persistence in the fight. He has the ability to put himself in a position for that win.
The thing is, I've been serious about Shishi the whole time. I can't stand him. I have to look at him for 15 more days. God damn it, he's so uncomfortable, man.
It's an interesting... is it because he is not so orthodox, he doesn't have predictable moves, that they're not able to get control of him?
Maybe. He's also enormous, which doesn't
help. He's a big man.
And looks very, very strong underneath all that.
There
is an awkwardness. There is an unpredictability about it too, I'd have to imagine.
So we'll see where he goes. Excuse me, from Magashira 11. I don't know that he's going to make Kachikoshi, but, we could be proved wrong as they go. A couple of guys come up into Magashira. Nishiki Fuji makes a reappearance, 11-4 at Juryo. He comes up 6 places into Magashira 15. Oshumi makes his first time in. I think Oshumi might be making his debut in Magashira off an 8-7 in Juryo from Juryo 3. Oh no, that was
Magashira 16 East.
Yeah, 9-6. He makes his debut. They're the 2 new guys up. A couple of guys, obviously. Chiyoshima makes a reappearance, 9-6. The Henker Man. And Meisei is on the bare bones of his bum down in Magashira 18. I did hear he had a significant injury throughout September tournament. I just need to remind myself what it was, a back injury. So he was Kyujo for London, which would explain his 5-10. And if he's had a back injury, he's probably done okay to get 5 wins, to be honest, and save himself.
I don't see him surviving top division. I think
Yeah,
he's been doing too bad for too long.
I think if his back injury comes good, like July 3-12, September 5-10, if he can get over that back injury, I think he's got the wherewithal to stay there and maybe slowly climb back up to mid Megashira.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping. So Fukuoka, we obviously want to see another day 15 playoff between the Yokozunas. We think, I think Nishiki will be there for the race, of course. Not sure if we'll see Kota Zakura yet. No word on his knee. Ura, I want to see more orthodox sumo.
I just want to see
who
Ura.
are we? Well, yes,
that's what
true.
he does.
I'm happy that he does orthodox sumo, but I want to see the flips when he loses or wins.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be boring and pick Hoshoryu for this tournament.
The way things are set now, injury excluding, obviously, I don't see anyone winning this except the Yokozunas. They're just so good right now. They're healthy, they're elite, they're ridiculous. It's just everyone else is living in their shadow right now.
In 12 months, if they're both healthy and they swap the odd Yusho, I'll remind you of this conversation. Will we get bored with seeing them win?
Not if it's a rivalry.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and I as I said ages ago, this is the exciting thing this year about two Yokozunas. I want to see that rivalry for a couple of years yet.
Mm-hmm. I look forward
They're both
to it.
capable of it. Should be an excellent tournament. Goose, it's been wonderful as usual. Thank you for joining me. We will see you on the Sunday Morning Sumo Show as it all kicks off again in 2 weeks. Sunday. It should be an excellent tournament. Don't forget to join me here on Let's Learn Sumo on the podcast. I will be broadcasting, of course, during the tournament. I am also going to be possibly in Melbourne for the Senshiraku party that Sumo Mainichi have. That should be interesting on their last day, their little live broadcast they do.
Say hi for me.
I will. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to join me on YouTube as well. Hakuo listeners, let's learn sumo.